that doing whatever it takes to not come out of the place of worship until you have your expectation met. I feel like I need to take a few minutes with that, but I know for some of us it's hard because we don't understand that level of commitment to being in a place of worship. I'm talking about just in the place of worship. I'm talking about in the room, in the atmosphere, amidst other worshipers, when all the distractions come and the hindrances come and all the things that try to get you out of the place, the things that try to weigh on your mind and try to get you out of the place, because the enemy knows that if you're ever going to be blessed, it's going to be in the place. And there are places that God tells you, go and stay there, until I come and give you what I promise. And you have to be mature enough not to move from that place. Now, it doesn't have to be a physical place. It can be a spiritual place. It can be a period in your life, a time, but it's a place where God has determined to meet you. And if God says, I'm going to meet you here, you can't let anything pull you out of that place. Somebody knows what I'm talking about, that there is a place. You're not going to get blessed in Nazareth. You're not going to get blessed in Bethlehem. You can't go and conjure it up. You can't go make it up. You got to go to Jerusalem and stay there. Jerusalem might be uncomfortable. Jerusalem might be taking too long, but that is the place. And a level of maturity to go to a place that has taken 10 consecutive days and nights to bring something that he promised. And the miracle that everybody who started out on day one is still there. Now, if that isn't a miracle, let me give you the real miracle. They're all there and on one accord. Now, I hate to tell you that if we stayed here to midnight tonight believing God, we might still all be here. You might have to lock the doors and tell the ushers not to let anybody out. But I can promise you, by midnight, we wouldn't all be on the same accord because everybody doesn't have the same expectation. There'd be some people pouting and mad and walking around like, why we still got to be here? Why can't I go home? They're there, but they were on one. Here it is. They were not only in the place, they were at the same place. True worship that's going to release a Pentecostal experience requires us to be at the same place. Not just in the same place. Oh, what do I mean? That as worship begins to move and the ebb and flow of worship shifts, we oftentimes are finding the place. But part of us finding the place is that everybody who is in the place has to be trying to arrive at the same place. I'm gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna get that, but I gotta jump ahead. See, here is the problem. Getting at the same place is a discipline in the spirit realm of getting to a place in worship that you climb to wherever God moves the spirit in the atmosphere, and you have to be determined to be at that place. Problem is, there are too many people who come to worship who are individualized and personal in their worship. They like to say things like, I worship God in my own way. It don't take all that. But you don't understand that you're in worship with us to be at the same place with us. We don't need to be on the mountain while you're in the valley. If God's taking us to the mountain, then everybody needs to be climbing till they get to the top of the mountain. And we're not there till everybody is at. Your personal worship has to climb to the place of the collective worship. In order for there to be a Pentecostal move, everybody in the room has to climb to the same place. when half of us are saying, you make all things new. I will follow you forward. We don't need the other half sitting there with their arms folded. We don't need you sitting there, because you become an anchor to me. You become a toe to me. If the collective is saying forward, then you need to get off your behind and start pressing forward. We've all got to be at the same place. I want to talk about two types of people who hinder us from getting to the same place. They are hindrances and distractions. The first person that is a hindrance is the wait and see worshiper. Can I teach in here just a little while? The wait and see worshiper is the person who is waiting on God to do something with no attitude of pursuit. The wait and see worshiper watches all the pursuers. The wait and see worshiper is the person who will watch you go in and lose your mind because they're waiting to see what's going to happen. I feel like I need to teach it here. And it is a frustrating thing when you're trying to pull a room of wait and see worshipers into the presence of God. They don't understand that you're a trigger for them. You are a sign to them that when you see me going in, that ain't the time for you to wait and see. That's the time for you to join in. Worship is not a spectator sport. You can't sit back and watch everybody else worship and see what the outcome is going to be. When worship kicks in, it calls you to get in the game. It calls you to get on the field. It calls you to get up and get your adrenaline moving. It calls you. This ain't no spectator sport. Yeah! Get in the game! Wait and see worshipers hold the atmosphere down. For many years of my life, I worshiped with wait and see worshipers. They'll sit there, and no matter how the power of the Lord is moving, no matter how the Spirit of the Lord is climbing in the atmosphere, sometimes I think I'm about to go out of my mind in the Spirit. I can't contain myself. Feel like I'm about to explode from the inside out. And you look over at a wait and see worshiper, and they look like ain't nothing happening. Like they ain't even in the same room. And it make you want to slap them and say, what in the world is wrong with you? How can you just sit here when the Lord is in the room? What are you waiting for? If you're not careful, a wait and see worshiper will pull you out of the Spirit. You can be flowing in the Spirit, trying to reach God, and catch one wait and see worshiper, and it'll snatch you like an anchor that refuses to move because it's stuck in earth. It's the problem. Wait and see worshipers are stuck in earth. Anything that's trying to climb to the Spirit, if you're connected to earth, it'll snatch you out. And the problem is, we have a lot of wait and see worshipers who depend on other people to get the spiritual atmosphere to a place that pleases God. And you just waiting to see if it's going to work. Waiting to see if all this singing, waiting to see if all this crying, waiting to see if all this praying, waiting to see if all this running, shouting is going to work. Just waiting to see with no real expectation. They're anchors who pull you out.